Voyager Maritime Museum. Got it right this time. Great. Welcome, David. I'll let you introduce your team. Looking forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On my left, I have Karen Walters, and on my right, Sam Alexander. And I would ask Karen to lead off with our presentation.
Tēnā koutou katoa. Everybody, thank you very much for this opportunity today to talk to you. We are Hui Te Ana Nui a Tangaroa, the New Zealand Maritime Museum. We're a nationally and internationally significant cultural heritage facility. We're located down on the Viaduct Harbour Precinct. We're kaitiaki of taonga, precious to people of Tamaki Makaurau, Auckland, and Aotearoa, New Zealand. And it is precious specifically to our maritime heritage. We connect Aucklanders with their past so that they can better appreciate and inform the present and the future. Our museum provides an award-winning portal for visitors both local and international, and that enables us to explore our cultural identity both as a city and as a nation. We collect, preserve and interpret Aotearoa's unique maritime stories with the hard work and passion of just 24 staff and an incredible 160 plus volunteers. And they help us to develop and deliver our 9 exhibition galleries, the Bill Laxon Library, the 3 working heritage vessels that we have on the harbour, our public programming, and also our very high quality education programs. All of this ensuring access for Aucklanders to our collection of heritage, as well as providing a major tourist attraction for visitors to Auckland. Indeed, we've got volunteers that are so passionate. In the last year, they've given us over 44,500 hours of their time. So we're very proud of that. We're not bound by the walls of our museum. We understand the issues that our community have around transport and finance. So we work within the Auckland community with a lot of outreach programs. We go to schools, we've worked with Auckland libraries, supporting local groups and events all around the Auckland region. We do everything from prizes for school raffles to developing and delivering education programs for some really large-scale projects. For example, we've just completed working with the Volvo Ocean Race on delivering programs for over 1,000 students in 1 week. We are also currently working with the Polynesian Voyaging Society on their worldwide voyage. And we are running programs for students there as well. Quite interesting to note that next Tuesday we'll be addressing about 2,000 students out by Point England as the waka come around to greet them. So all in all, we've seen a whopping 74% increase in our off-site or outreach engagement, and I think that's kind of essential to creating access for Aucklanders. We're contributing to the Auckland Plan and the wellbeing of Aucklanders in a number of ways. Firstly, through the collection and preservation of our heritage and making this accessible through immersive exhibitions, online articles, the Bill Laxon Memorial Library, and our programming. Our collections are significant nationally and internationally. We hold everything from the archives of the Auckland Harbour Board through to the Mururoa Peace Flotilla archives. We have obviously the America's Cup collection, right the way through to our Polynesian and Pacifica collection of waka. I should say too that at the moment one of our main projects is the restoration of the World War I motor launch, the Nautilus, one of the few remaining vessels we believe that are linked to the hospital ships and ferrying the troops during World War I. So we're very lucky now that we have an incredible collections team that are respected nationally and internationally as well. Their expertise and their collaborative approach has seen 2 new exhibitions in this last year, and our exhibitions have again been nominated for the Museum's Aotearoa Awards. We're currently developing some exciting new exhibitions with the Fashion Museum, a little bit outside our breadth before, but the possibility of attracting new audiences is always good. And the Edmiston Trust Curator, we're looking at a surfing exhibition. We're pushing forward into the digital age, becoming truly international through making our stories available online, and we're currently trying to complete a collections audit also so that we can then get our collection up online so that people can access that even more simply. Our actual interest in online engagements to our collections has grown by 65% in the last year. We support our community's cultural identity and education through affordable access to memorable learning experiences. We offer free museum entry for any Aucklanders. We offer very low-cost programs, $7 to go and do a complete education program with our educators and go sailing on the harbour for schools. We also, that's not just for schools, that's anybody from Kahangoreo right the way through to your kindies. We have our schools, we have our tertiary institutions come. We work with a lot of vocational training companies as well. So we're going right across the breadth of that education spectrum. We provide online resources for learning and online research facility as well. So we're doing quite a bit in that way. All of our experiences, I should say, are developed and designed in line with our philosophy around learning and also current learning practice. And I should also mention that we're very proud that we are now working with Be Accessible to ensure also that our experiences for anybody from the time they first perhaps look us up online or perhaps call us right through to after their visit, that we are physically accessible to anybody as well. And that doesn't matter what age. And we've just been awarded a bronze award and we're going to work towards getting that gold award. That's our aim for the future. Our on-site programming is tailored for our audiences. We've done quite a bit of audience research. It's designed to deepen the engagement with the collection, everything from our school holiday programs right through to our large-scale open weekends. We've just had one just recently with Malama Honua with the Polynesian Voyaging Society. We use our galleries, we're using our marina for things, we're running workshops, performances, all sorts of opportunities so that anybody can access this museum, because that's what it's all about. The cherry on the cake, the one that we love to crow about, that's unique to us, is that on-water experience. You know, it's incredible. We provide that access not only to our harbour directly to us, but we do even tours out into the Hauraki Gulf to explore the Gulf and the islands there. We've even sent Breeze, our tall ship, up north, up to Whangarei as well, and had outreach through there. Right the way through to working with Ports of Auckland, for very low cost exploration for our school groups. On that one, it costs them $1. And if they are really, really tight, then we'll even do it at no charge. You know, so we certainly understand about the low decile schools issues around there. We also work with local Māori trusts to provide waka haurua, so that's our ocean-going waka on the harbour, and that's something really unique. We're really proud of the fact that that's coming back to our harbour. So I just don't know where else you can get that experience of going sailing on the harbour and sort of discovering through our galleries that experience of our maritime heritage. Our experiences are unique and they're more popular. We've got a 29% increase in demand for our sailing in the last year, a 13% increase in our education programs, 16% increase in on-site visitation, and we expect that trend to continue. These increases engagement, they're not by accident. It's not just that words finally got around. We've planned for this over the last 5 years, and if you look back over our track record, we've got a consistent record of increasing our engagement with Aucklanders and people outside of Auckland. We know what we're doing, and we're going to keep on doing it. Our successful collaboration with external stakeholders and organisations, including the council teams, has had some really great outcomes for us in this last year, and I should say in our last 5 years, but particularly for our community and our profile nationally and internationally. Indeed, I'll just give you a little picture. In this last month alone, just in March, we've had the Volvo Ocean Race, we've had our school programming with them, we've had the 40 Years, 40 Faces exhibition on for the Volvo Ocean Race, we've had public programming all over that as well. And all of that has been free for Aucklanders. We're working with the Polynesian Voyaging Society. We've had a big open weekend for them in this last month. We've got the schools programs running with them. We've got opportunities for people to set foot on a waka haurua for the first time and learn about the incredible knowledge of our Pacific voyages. So then we've got Sea Week. We had also squeezed in there a weekend for Sea Week as well, working with them and raising the profile of Sea Week across Auckland. And right now, we've just gone into planning with Waterfront Auckland, planning around Matariki. We had a successful year last year with that, and we're seeking to expand that further, and other ways of activating Auckland's waterfront as well. We're trying to develop a really sustainable future for our museum. In our 21st year of operation, we're now in a positive financial position. We're on track to achieve our budget. Despite our unique challenges, these include not being funded for depreciation, the cost of housing a collection in a saltwater environment, which is quite a challenge, and also for being one of the few cultural attractions too that is having to cover rates and lease expenses as well. So, you know, we've got those challenges, but we're up to it. We've worked really hard to review and realise the potential of our site. We're really pleased that we've developed a very positive long-term commercial partnership with a number of our tenants now, securing a good financial future for the museum. And that's also going to add value to our visitors. You know, we have more control now over the type of setups that we have around us. We have got a dedicated sales focus now, focusing on both the domestic and international tourism trade market, and that is also seeing a good response already for us, particularly in the cruise ship area. But look, in terms of our future, I'd just like to hand over to David. He's got a word or two to talk about our future direction.
Thank you, Karen. Mr. Chairman, I am David Winstone, recently appointed Chairman of the Maritime Museum Trust. 2014 has been a year of change and evolution for the Maritime Museum at both executive and trust levels, which now positions the organisation in 2015-2016 for a year ahead of challenges and opportunities. Thanks to Karen and her leadership team, we have had an excellent 6 months of trading with visitor numbers up, staff morale high and cash in the bank. Change forced the Trust to sit back and reflect on our position in the museum sector and where the Maritime Museum is heading. A new vision needed to be developed that recognised the strengths of the Maritime Museum, but also questioned the direction the Maritime Museum is heading in the next 10 to 20 years. In consultation with the Auckland War Memorial Museum, a subcommittee with trustee representation from both the Auckland Museum and Maritime Museum was established to discuss whereby the resources of the Maritime Museum, working in collaboration with the Auckland Museum, provide the basis for the evolution of a more significant focus and appreciation of our rich maritime heritage on Auckland's waterfront. The aim has been to determine if there is sufficient common ground from which to move forward together. The working group aspired to a significantly better long-term outcome on the waterfront and closely align itself with the vision of the Auckland Council plan to be the world's most livable city. I'm pleased to say that the Maritime Museum Trust unanimously supported the big idea. The opportunity promoted was for the two museums to join forces to develop the case for a maritime heritage precinct, to unify their operations and thereby to create additional public value and capture efficiencies. With the combined strengths of both institutions to support the Auckland Waterfront Plan, it would lead towards a sharper focus on New Zealand maritime heritage. The discussions centred on the concept of moving beyond a singular focus on the Maritime Museum site to a broader partnership as part of developing in the long term a world-class waterfront precinct of which the Maritime Museum is just one component. The vision is that Auckland's waterfront precinct will combine a wide range of activity, both live and static, celebrating the unique maritime, cultural and heritage stories of Auckland. The concept is not to limit joint activity on the waterfront to the Auckland Museum or the Maritime Museum. Other key partners to the precinct include iwi, Royal Navy and the Navy Museum, the Percy Voss Trust, the Classic Yachts Trust, Ports of Auckland and the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron. Trustees from both institutions have had initial consultation with Waterfront Auckland, regional facilities and ARAFA and received positive feedback from all. In the meantime, Roy Clare has consulted with Stephen Town to produce a prospectus which will examine the strategic framework for cultural facilities in Auckland. This phase will determine exactly where the Maritime Museum fits in the cultural framework on the Auckland waterfront. And the Maritime Museum looks forward to taking part in the wider discussion on Auckland's cultural facilities. In the interim, it has recognised the importance of sustaining the vitality of the Maritime Museum and its current operations for some time to come as any part of any transition. In this regard, our ARAFA funding is critical to help the Maritime Museum continue operating and to participate more fully in the preparatory work needed for the long-term precinct aspiration. The Maritime Museum is an integral of this precinct aspiration. The Executive and Trust are motivated by the challenges and exciting opportunities ahead of us, together with the operational team and dedicated volunteers to further engage Aucklanders and visitors, both domestic and international, with Auckland's rich New Zealand maritime heritage. Mr. Chairman, thank you. We're happy to answer any questions.
Thanks very much for your full report. Questions? Councillor Fletcher.
Well, thank you, David, and can I congratulate you and your team for the challenge that you've picked up. I believe, Mr. Chairman, that this is one of the really defining opportunities for Auckland, and I really welcome the way in which you're beginning to look ahead so that we can understand our past but look to our future in terms of the importance of our Hauraki Gulf Marine Park. I've long been interested in how we could use using the experience of Monterey, where they have their aquarium and they have their park in downtown, the opportunity for us to do something similar in Auckland's downtown. And I wonder whether you could broaden the scope of your work to possibly look at the inclusion of this. I think to have that combination of education, visitor experience, there is just such a lot that we could still be doing with our downtown area within the Hauraki Gulf Marine Park, and wonder whether you'd like to comment on that.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, yes, I would like to comment. An aquarium has been talked about several times in the past years, and I know even recently there was talk that, hey, the Navy Museum over there at Torpedo Bay, if you could possibly do something over there. And this is part of the link of the precinct, which would link all these places together. And I agree, an aquarium somewhere would be an added maritime interest on the waterfront.
Could I just add too that in support of that, we actually have a little program running at the moment called Keep the Oceans Clean. It's incredibly popular, and part of that is actually feeding and identifying the wildlife that live under our museum. So it's taking students down onto the pontoons and discovering what's down there. And we're working with the Experiencing Marine Reserves people to do that. We've also worked with Sustainable Coastlines, but yeah, we would welcome that opportunity to expand that further.
Oh, well, I encourage you to take it further. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Councillor Casey.
I've got two questions. One is just in relation to the comments made by the ARAFA board relative to your funding allocation. How much did you actually ask for the coming year?
We got 3.9 million.
Oh, I see. So it was 3 point. So you just there were step ups from that, and the board's saying that at the current. What did they mean by major business challenges facing you, which is one of the reasons that they haven't given you the step up funding?
I think I alluded to that. Last year, our museum director resigned and our chairman stepped down, and I presume that that is the two big issues that the Maritime Museum had to face last year.
Okay. My other question is one that I often ask, but it's about the location of the museum and an alternative entrance. Are we anywhere near kind of opening it up yet?
We have worked with Waterfront Auckland on that, and we have opened up. We've moved our entry into the old sail loft in the ASB, what's termed the ASB building, and that is now our entrance, and we obtain commercial income from the old Launchman's building. It is still a small entrance. but it's working better. Yes, there could be a lot done to improve it even further. But
Is that
has
part
to-
of your master planning that's mentioned in the Arafa report?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good, thank you.
Thank you to Councillor Casey. Councillor Walker?
Yeah, just a question about those volunteer numbers that you
Yes.
mentioned. 44,500. Is that a year?
That's a